Hello and welcome to the latest episode of How to Draw Awesome Animals with your friends at Peppermint Narwhal. This is the video series where we teach you how to draw animals in a fun and simple way while we share facts about the species as we go along. So today we're going to draw the adorable red panda. And of course that's its common name. Below that you'll see in the parentheses we have its scientific name. And below that, you'll see its conservation status. And unfortunately, this animal is an endangered species, which means it's at higher risk for going extinct. So we definitely have some conservation work to do with this very popular and beautiful animal. And again, that comes from the IUCN's Red List of Threatened Species, and at least that's the status at the time of the recording of this video. So we'll go ahead and get this out of the way, and we're ready to get started. Pencil and paper is how I'll be drawing today. And we're going to just start off our drawing by right about here on the paper. We're going to just draw a simple, small little oval. This time a little more horizontally angled, so it's a little longer than it is tall. So there we go. I'm just going to color that in. So simple little oval, and there we go. Just a little oval on the page. All right, next thing you know, we're going to draw two ovals again, but we're going to make these vertical ones, and we're going to put them on either side of this. This is essentially going to be our nose, so we're drawing eyes now. So there we go. We've got two ovals, this time more vertical. And I'm going to color those in almost the same, but leave a little bit of white this time. And that's just going to give me a little bit of the highlight of the eye there. And that looks great. Okay, so there we've got a nose, and we've got our two eyes there. So below the nose, about picture center, we're going to pretend there's a dot right in the middle, center bottom of that. And if you've been on this page before, you know I teach you a method of kind of a dot-to-dot method. And dot-to-dots normally are you see two dots, you connect them with a line in between. But for three dots, I like to use a curve. So we'll assume there's a dot here right at the bottom of this nose. This is going to be our middle dot, and this is our ending dot. I use that middle dot for the arch of the curve, so we're kind of drawing this kind of a shape. And you'll see me just draw it here. Again, if you want to just sometimes watch me do it first before you get confident, but there we go. We got that nice side of the mouth happening there with a nice curve. We're going to repeat that same process again, starting here, assuming that there's a dot there. It's a little hard to show you a dot there because we got the nose darkened in, but two more dots there will give us three. And again, we'll just kind of bring those back just like that. And I'm just going to add those little dimple curves there, just a little curve, bracketing curve, just kind of make that little extra happy looking smile there. All right, that looks fine. Now we're going to go ahead and start to put on the rest of the head here. So we'll go ahead and do that by sort of putting a dot right about here, a dot here, and a dot there. And again, with three dots, we're going to kind of make a nice arching curve, use that middle dot for the arch, and then work our way back to that end dot. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to sort of repeat the same process on the outside of the head here. And there we go. Oops. And again, you can go from either direction here. I sort of switch directions there for you, just to show you can go either way, whatever's more comfortable or natural. And now that we've got these sort of lines almost close together here, we're actually just going to put a third dot here. We're going to use this end dot and this end dot and just kind of make a nice little rounded curve for the chin there. That looks pretty good. And then below this mouth here, we're going to put a dot here. And we're going to put a dot sort of right about on either side of that, like almost like just making a little curved line here to show that the mouth's open and it's happy. We'll just kind of color it in. So that looks pretty good. And then again, we got that nice chin right underneath there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a dot just right about below the eye here and below that dimple smile. And we're going to put a dot out here and a dot out here and make a nice curved line just like that. And then we're going to use this same starting dot here, put a dot here and a dot here, make that curving line again. That looks pretty good. And we're going to kind of repeat the process on this opposite side. So a dot just right below the eye there. Two more dots to give us three, and then a curved line just like that. And then we're going to repeat this process here again, starting with that dot here. Add two more to get three, and then make another curving line. That looks pretty good. So these dots, or these sort of now look like bands that we've made, and they're actually are bands. We're going to color those in, darken them in, because this would be sort of darker markings that you would see on the red panda. So I'm just using my pencil to shade that in. And then the muzzle is nice and bright white. Now there's also some nice bright white around the eyes. So to do that, we'll just sort of make a simple kind of mirroring of the eye that we did. Just basically another oval kind of around the eye, basically on either eye. Just want to kind of follow your original oval drawing, but make a nice little bit of padding, and then there you go, you got that nice white of the face there. Okay, so the panda would also, red panda would also have some nice white patch kind of right here on the cheeks. So to do that, we'll put a dot here right at the base of that outer oval that we made. Put a dot here and a dot on the outside of the head, and there we go. We got just like that. And then again, repeat the process from this side. 2 more dots to give us 3. And again, that would be nice white. So we've got this nice white in the sort of muzzle area, around the eyes and on the cheeks. And then we've got this nice darker banding there that you sort of see. Now there's also some darker banding that kind of goes along the base of the outside. So we'll just darken our outside line here a little bit. And that way we'll get a little bit of that extra banding or darker markings that you see on the red panda. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is going to add some ears to this guy. So he's got these nice sort of subtly rounded ears. So we got 3 more dots there to make a nice sort of rounded curve there. And then we'll end at that, or use that top dot, kind of do the same and bring it back down here. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to now do this on the other side here. Put a dot here, and a dot here. That's 3 dots. It's going to be the start of our second ear. And then we'll use that top dot, kind of bring it down. And there we go. It looks pretty good. Now their ears at the bottom have a little bit of like bushy hair. So I'm just going to capture that by kind of making a few little sort of almost like almost like drawing grass blades or something like that. So I'll put another couple little tufts of hair on either side of this. And then for the center of the ears, we're just going to sort of kind of mirror the shape that we just did for the ears, but just sort of darken them, the center parts there, to show the deeper part of the ear. So there we go. And that looks pretty good. All right, now we'll just sort of from the top of the head here, we'll put the dots will be at the either side of the end of the ear. We'll put one in the middle, and then I'll just kind of round it off nicely. And there's a nice little red panda face completed for us. So as you can see here, it almost kind of looks a little bit like we got these bandings and banded markings, and you know, you could definitely see why this animal is considered so adorable to so many people. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a dot right about here. Actually, we'll put it right about here, right below the tuft there. And we'll put a dot here and a dot here real close. And we'll just kind of make a nice curved line coming off just like that. And then from this dot here, we'll put a dot out to about here and another one over to here. There's going to be a much bigger curving line. That's going to give us the overall backside of the animal there, moving along its spine there. That looks pretty good. And now we'll come back to the underside of our red panda here. We'll put a dot here, a dot here, and a dot here. And we'll just kind of get a nice curved line going down there, sort of forming the neck there. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a dot here, and a dot here, and a dot here. We'll get a little bit of a curved line going. We'll start that first foreleg there. And then from this dot here, we'll just kind of take it down with another dot. And there's our first, I think maybe it's our first straight line. So 2 dots, just simple straight line there. So there we go. And now that we're at this end dot, we'll put a dot here and a dot here. And we've got 3 dots there to make a nice curve starting that paw. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We'll put a dot over here and another straight line, just kind of bringing it back from that end dot. And now we're working our way back up to the body here. So we'll put a dot here and a dot here, and we'll just have a nice simple subtle curve there for that. Now to put on some toes, real simple. You may have seen us do this on the channel before. It's just like upside down J's or a cane shape or a candy cane shape there. So just put a couple of those in there, and that'll be nice little bits of toes. And then we'll come back now to the bottom of the body here. Let's put on the chest and belly. So we got 3 dots there. There we go, that looks pretty good. Okay, now we'll put on the hind leg. This guy's a little bit of a bigger back leg. We'll use that dot and make 2 more. There's our middle dot, or our middle dot that we'll use as the arch of the curve. So there we go, that looks pretty good. And again, we're doing that paw thing, so we'll start down here, dot, dot, and then we got that nice curve. As you see, I can go either direction there. And then we'll use this dot over here, this dot over here, and this dot over here. So as I'm drawing this, wrapping this leg up, talk a little bit about this animal. This animal certainly is a boreal animal, spends a lot of time in trees. Its favorite food is bamboo, much like the similarly named giant panda. It eats primarily bamboo, and we'll talk about this animal and its relationship to that other animal in a moment. We'll put on some of those toes. We know how we did them before, those upside down J's. So it was named the red panda because it was thought to have sort of similar relation to the giant panda, and at one point it was even thought that it was maybe a type of bear, but that is not the case. It is not related to bears or the giant panda, but they do have some similar characteristics. Of course, we know that I said they both eat bamboo, so I'll put 2 more dots here, and we'll use this end dot for a nice curved line there, and then we'll just sort of use these 2 dots and put one in the middle and just kind of round that off to get the rump shape there. All right, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to put a back legs on this guy. We'll put a dot here and a dot here. We'll just do a straight line. And as I was saying, they both eat bamboo. It's, you know, giant panda and the red panda. Do those curving paw here. So they both eat the bamboo, and they've actually, their front paws here have developed what's called a false thumb. Both the red pandas and the giant pandas have this sort of, it's not a true thumb like ours, like an opposable thumb, but it kind of works the same way. They actually have a little bit of pad on their pad here that sort of serves as a thumb, and they can hold bamboo a little better like that. Now, both animals had this trait. Of course, both are, you know, found in similar places like China, and they both, there's a straight line just like that. And basically, we're going to just kind of finish up this leg here as I'm talking about this. So got 3 dots there. We'll just kind of make a nice curving line there. And then we know how to put those toe digits on. But again, they have a similar diet, live in similar areas, but again, not closely related. So the reason they evolved that similar hand, or sorry, not hand, but front paw, is because of the way that they eat a similar diet. So that's something called convergent evolution, and that's where 2 animals that aren't closely related, like the red panda and the giant panda, develop similar traits because of more environmental or their habitat sort of dictating those traits, and not necessarily some type of lineage or relationship. So again, it's not a bear, it's not closely related to bears, but you can see how they thought that. We'll put a back leg on this guy here. It'll be kind of walking a little bit here. We're kicking it back. So we'll go ahead and get 2 dots there, and we'll actually make 3 dots. We'll just make it a little bit of a curve on this there. And then from this back side here, we got 3 more dots for another curve line there. There we go. And then we're going to kind of make that same sort of, you know, paw shape there. There we go. So a straight dot, or a little blemish there. It was looking like a dot I had drawn. There we go. And then we'll just kind of connect those final 2 lines. So you can see almost when you kind of finish drawing, it almost looks a little bear-like as well. So you can see how that bear sort of relationship came up. But another animal that I got confused with is we're going to start to draw. It's one of its other faces, a very distinguishing characteristic, but we're also going to draw this impressive tail that it has, which has a lot of banding on it. And that makes it look like another type of animal that it got confused with or thought maybe had some relationship to. So there's 3 dots for a curved line. So another animal that we know that has some nice banded tail is the raccoon. And even with this sort of facial markings, it does sort of have a little bit of a raccoon-like sort of characteristics. It spends both raccoons and the red panda will be seen a lot in the trees. They're both have an arboreal sort of nature to them, so that gave that sort of scientists and researchers, maybe an indication that possibly they were related. Of course, after they look closer, that was not the case. They are not, again, related to raccoons or any members of the raccoon family. In fact, the red panda is placed in its own genus all by itself, so it's very unique in that respect. So I'll go ahead and continue this with a couple more dots and use this end dot for 3, and we'll kind of curve this back. And we're getting close to now working our way back to we'll create the tip of this. So I've got 3 dots there, and we'll make sort of a harsh curve there. And then we're basically now working our way back to use that end dot, put a dot here, and a dot here. We've got this nice sort of bushy tail that they have. Use that end dot, put another one here, another one here. There we go. And then for the finishing it off, we'll just sort of put, again, 2 more dots, use that end dot, and nicely bring it back. So now I'm going to just sort of fluff this tail off to make it a little more bushy. I'm just kind of draw like V's or zigzagging, you know, basically like almost like drawing blades of grass. So just follow our lines here and just make it a little more jagged, a little more fluffy, a little more hairy. And again, now I'm going to do that banding that, again, that kind of looks very similar to the raccoon. So we'll put a little bit of a same sort of that scratchy drawing line. And we're just going to sort of put in our bands. And then we're going to color these bands in as we sort of go along, alternating dark and leaving then the other ones the white of the paper. So there we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to color these guys in. Now, again, we had learned a lot about the red panda here. You know, it likes bamboo. And since it likes bamboo and that's its primary food source, if you know anything about giant pandas, of course, they have to spend a lot of time eating because the bamboo isn't a very efficient, it's hard to digest, and it's not easy to, it doesn't provide a lot of calories for the animal. So much like the giant panda the red panda spends a lot of time searching for food, finding bamboo, eating bamboo, and then because it doesn't generate a lot of calories, it spends a lot of time resting and sleeping. That's where it go up in a tree to rest to save on energy. So we'll put a dot here. We'll put one final detail on this animal here. We've got 3 dots there. Make a nice curved line, and then we'll kind of continue that using this end dot, and we'll put one right at the back side here. And that's going to give us sort of almost like a nice bit of separation. And the animal here would have a really nice orangish color here at the top. But as it goes to the bottom side of its body, it tends to get dark again, much like this banding. So we'll go ahead and just darken that in. So again, we've learned a lot of nice things about the red panda. Certainly it's one of the most popular animals around because it's just adorable. Once you sort of see that face, you probably are pretty much falling in love with this animal because it's just a very cute animal. Now, there are two distinct populations of red pandas. In fact, the newest research in science is actually saying that we have 2 separate species, that they're actually 2 separate species as opposed to 1 species. So there's these 2 populations do not interact. They've been separate for quite a while, and they've evolved independently. In fact, if you look at one of the populations, they actually have a little bit of a more muted face masking. It's a little less distinct, as you see we've drawn in this population. This has the real nice, rich, and very defined banding. So again, science is always changing. We're always learning new things. Sometimes we adjust as we discover something new. But there we go. We've got a nice, cute red panda drawing here that you can promote and share with your friends. Tell them about the red panda. Tell them some of the things you learned today. And of course, let them know that this animal is an endangered species and we got to do a little better work to preserve it. So drawing is a great way to spread a message. That's why we choose to do it. And you can help us out by sharing yours as well. Remember, you can use that hashtag #MintySketch. If you post that online, give it the hashtag. That way we can see your drawing, and other people that follow this page as well will have the opportunity to share that. And again, if you need your parents to have you help do that, please do so. If you like this video, please give it a like. We appreciate that. It helps the page. And again, if you're enjoying this video series or would like to see more video series from this, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and that way you'll get updates on future How to Draw Awesome Animal episodes. So we look forward to seeing you back here soon, and have a great day. Bye-bye.